Getting buyers to make offers. Agents always ask, Bill, how can I get an offer before my buyer has even seen the business or had a showing? Um, there's two reasons. Businesses are not like real estate where you say, I'll buy the business if it has a pretty office, it has to look good. You're not buying the physical asset. You are buying the physical assets, but you're not paying for them. You are paying for the intangibles. That's where the bulk of the money's going towards. Um, Intangibles are things like your client list, your credit line, your vendor relationships. It's all the things that you don't see that enable that business to bring in the revenue it does each year. So at this point, there's really no reason to go see a business because you're not paying the bulk of the money for the physical assets. And as long as they're there, those assets, then that's fine. You're really paying for the intangibles, and those are what you really want to know are there. Um, and the second reason goes right along with that. It's because business contracts are contingent on a due diligence period where a buyer can go review those things and make sure the physical assets are there and the intangibles are what the listing says they are. Um, and for that, there's two ways we can make an offer. We can make it on an LOI, which stands for a letter of intent. It's basically normally on a one-page letter that says, "Dear seller, I, Mr. Buyer, promise to buy your business and go to contract within 1 week if you can give me this information." And we use that when there's a big if, a, a big contingent, maybe something like a valuation. If the valuation comes back as X, uh, or it could be a number of things like even that you're contingent on your manager signing an employee agreement for 1 year. Just there could be a number of things. But if there are no big contingencies like that, we would just use a regular asset purchase agreement um, for the offer, and it would only be signed by the buyer, and the terms of the buyer would be placed in that offer, and we'd submit it to the seller. It would have a due diligence period in there. In other words, the buyer would have a certain amount of time to review the information requested from the seller, like tax returns or financial reports or valuation of assets or